Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pull Up with Limbs and Things. My name is Dr. Chanel James. I am the owner of Limbs and Things mobile and telehealth physical therapy practice. I serve aging adults in DC, in Maryland, and in Virginia, helping them move from I can't do something to I can. Tonight, we're talking about accepting aging, and these are lessons that I've learned from my late grandmother. Today we're actually talking about it because it marks her fifth year of being without her, right? So today I'm talking about Doris Cotton. She is my maternal grandmother. And a lot of what I have learned about working with aging adults came from her. She was always with me. I was always with her, learning about all the things she was going through, and then just being there to help her in whatever way I could. And so tonight, some of the lessons that I'm sharing are from my interactions with her. Okay, so the first one, my grandmother had a couple of different problems that was going on with her, one of which she needed to use an assistive device for. But she was determined not to use the one I suggested. She was so adamant about being able to use a cane as opposed to a walker, though she felt very confident in her ability to maintain her balance when she was using a walker. So there are sometimes as we get older that we think that we can still do things that we want to do without the necessary device that we need. And she even told me that I just feel a little bit better and I look better if I have a cane as opposed to having a walker. And so yes, vanity may play a role in what assistive device you use, but ultimately you want to choose function over things that just look good. So that was one area that I wanted to bring forth because a lot of times as we get older, we still want to do the things that we used to do, and we still want to do it the way we used to do it. And sometimes that means having a certain look. And if you want to make sure that you're getting to having that cane instead of using that walker, physical therapy might be your better bet in terms of being able to be stable using a less resistive or less um, least restrictive assisted device, meaning going from a walker to a cane. So another area is driving. As my grandmother got older, she still wanted to drive, drove her friends around all the time, and would take them back and forth to church, to the grocery store, all the different areas that they went to. But toward the end of her driving career, she would do well forward, but whenever she needed to reverse, she wanted to get out of the driver's seat and get in the passenger seat because reverse became a little bit harder for her to do. So as we're aging and we're finding that we're driving and we don't feel that we have enough control, our reaction time is slowing, or you find that going different directions makes you a little bit uncomfortable, then you may need to consider determining whether driving is still in your best interest because we don't want to have any accidents or anything that could cause us to further injure ourselves. So the first one was assisted devices and choosing the better one for you depending on your functional level. And then the second one, that lesson was determining your driving ability and being able to determine if, okay, if I'm not able to go forward, backward, reverse, parallel park, go straight into a parking space, then I might need to consider what other driving options I have. Another one that was pretty prominent is whenever you would come to my grandmother's house, her TV would be up so loud that you could hear it before you got to the porch. And she was so adamant about not having a hearing aid. And in doing so, hearing aids not only help you to hear better, but they also improve your balance, your equilibrium, all of those things that will help you to prevent falling. And so that was one thing that we had a source of contentment with, trying to convince her that perhaps if you're falling more, it could be due to your hearing loss. So another one that I thought was probably good to bring forth to you tonight is also exercise. So being a physical therapist, I was always seeing that there was some exercise I could teach her to do that would help her reduce some of her hip pain and reduce some of her back pain as well. So she would do it for a little while and then she would stop and she would wonder why the pain came back. And then we talked about how we could enter or put in these exercises into her normal routine. And in doing so, when you put things in your normal routine, it doesn't feel like it's an extra task to do. And so you're more likely to do it if you implement exercise into your normal routine. So these are some of the lessons that I wanted to bring out today that I learned from working with my grandmother and just being her granddaughter in general. But one of the most important, I think, is being able to respect any aging adult that you have. She would often work with people or be around people that were older than her, and she would always make sure that she addressed them as Mr. and Mrs. So and so. And so that's been my practice that I've continued to, making sure that people have the respect that they deserve in just addressing them. And then you just have such more respect for someone, and that respect is shown in how you address them. And so these are some of the lessons that I found and experienced from her. If any of these are relevant to you, you can like or you can put your comment in the comment section. I hope these have been eye opening for you because there are so many times that as we get older, we just don't accept certain things. Whether it's gray hair, whether it's adjusting to a new functional level where you have to have modifications to your home. All of those things are so important to consider as you're aging. And then to know that you can get the assistance you need to be as independent as possible in your home environment or wherever you may be living. And one way to do that is with physical therapy. So, hopefully, you have gained something from what I've shared about devices, about driving, about exercise, and then also about hearing, because all of those things are so important as we age. They happen naturally, but then we have to be able to know our method of being able to address it so that it does not continue and that we are able to be independent for as long as we're living. So, if you are in need of physical therapy, you can always contact Limbs and Things. I'll put that information up. And hopefully, this information you can use to share with someone you know, challenge something you didn't know, and to be able to share that with someone else. I hope you guys have a good evening. Take care.